Welcome to this video from Elevate Care Insights. My name is Grador and we are going to look at equality and diversity, specifically looking at the Equality Act 2010. As always, please do like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. To better help you understand the Equality Act 2010 and how it came about, we're going to take a tour around some information to do with equality and diversity and how it affects care workers and businesses that provide care. So let's begin by looking at the main legislation that impacts equality and diversity in the UK. As well as that, you may have heard or you may have already had some information on the legislation concerning equality and diversity and the protected characteristics. This video is going to delve deeply into the protected characteristics so that you know how it impacts you as a caregiver and as a provider. Well, there's some important information that all involved in the provision and practice will need to know. So we're just going to spend a little time looking at the Equality Act 2010 and the protected characteristics and the types of discrimination that exist. The Equality Act brings together and replaced some important anti-discrimination legislation which had been in force for quite a while, with the hope to make them clear for you to do your job as caregivers and care providers. Some previous legislation, though, is still in force, and this Act does not replace them all, so it's really important to know which ones are still in place. In the UK, there are currently a wealth of legislation to do with equality and diversity. The Equal Pay Act 1970, the Sex Discrimination Act, the Race Relation Act, the Disability Discrimination Acts, the Employment Equality, Religion and Belief Regulations, the Employment Equality, Sexual Orientation Regulations, the Employment Equality, Age Regulations, and the Equality Act Sexual Orientation Regulations. Under the Equality Act 2010, there are 9 protected characteristics. These are age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion and belief, sex and sexual orientation. These are the 9 protected characteristics under the Equality Act 2010. The Equality Act 2010 legally protects people from discrimination in the workplace and in wider society. The implications for you as care providers is that you need to know if discrimination is taking place, and you also need to understand what your roles and duties are to prevent discrimination and to listen to people's complaints if they are being discriminated against. The only way you will be able to know how to do that is if you understand the characteristics. Age as a protected characteristic. Age under the Act is referred to as a person belonging to a particular age, for example, 32 years old, or a range of ages, for example, 18 to 30 years old. Most supporters of age equality feel that the principles of age equality are not always evident in the workplace or in the work undertaken and carried out. Disability as a protected characteristic. The next characteristic is disability, and under the legislation, disability is seen to be a person who has a disability if he or she has a physical or mental impairment which has substantial and long-term adverse effects on that person's ability to carry out normal day-to-day activities. This includes physical disabilities, learning disabilities, and mental health. Gender reassignment. This characteristic refers to people who are proposing to undergo or are undergoing or have undergone a process or part of a process to change their gender. This protection covers a wide range of gender identity experiences, including non-binary and gender-fluid individuals. Marriage and civil partnership. This characteristic is to support the anti-discrimination aspect of people who are treated differently at work because they are married or in a civil partnership. People do not have this characteristic if they are single, living with someone as a couple, neither married nor civil partners, engaged to be married but not married, divorced, or a person whose civil partnership has been dissolved. Pregnancy and maternity as protected characteristics. Pregnancy and maternity as protected characteristics. The law's definition between these circumstances are very clear. Maternity refers to the period after the birth and is linked to maternity leave in the employment context. In the non-work context, protection against maternity discrimination is for 26 weeks after giving birth, and this includes treating a woman unfavourably because she is breastfeeding. The characteristic of race. This protected characteristic refers to a group of people defined by their race, colour, and nationality, including citizenship, and it's about ethnicity or national origins. In the context of working within social care and in the context of working in a multi-faith Britain, we know as workers that people provide support to people who are vulnerable from all different races. The next protected characteristic is religion and belief. Linking with identity, religion has the meaning usually given to it, but belief includes religion and philosophical beliefs, including lack of belief, for example, atheism. Sex as a protected characteristic. The next characteristic is sex. Sex is a man or a woman, and we're used to talking about it in terms of gender. But what the Act is saying is that we really need to be much clearer about what we attribute sex to, and that it's attributed to male or female, a man or a woman, that person's sex. Sexual orientation as a protected characteristic. So this moves us on to sexual orientation, which includes transgender alongside sexual orientation and includes evidence for the need for choice, control and non-discriminatory practice. So as a provider, how can you ensure that you cover some of the issues in your workplace? The Equality Act 2010 in the UK outlines the 9 protected characteristics to safeguard individuals from discrimination. And these are some of the things that you might think about. For age, implementing policies that prohibit age-based discrimination and ensuring opportunities for training, promotion and development are always available to all regardless of age, promoting intergenerational understanding and respect among staff is also vital. Disability, making reasonable adjustments to the workplace to accommodate employees with disabilities. This includes physical adjustments as well as flexible working practices around people's emotional well-being. Providing disability awareness training to all staff is also important. Gender reassignment. Respecting and supporting individuals undergoing gender reassignment by using their chosen names and pronouns and ensuring access to gender-appropriate facilities. Policies should protect against discrimination and support the specific needs of transgender employees. Marriage and civil partnership. Ensuring that employees who are married or in a civil partnership are not treated unfairly. This includes fair treatment in terms of leave, policies, benefits and opportunities for advancement. Pregnancy and maternity. Ensuring pregnant employees and those on maternity leave are not discriminated against. This includes providing appropriate leave, ensuring their return to work is smooth, and protecting them from unfair treatment or dismissal. Race. Creating a workplace culture that respects and values diversity, including offering training on racial and cultural awareness. Ensuring recruitment, promotion and other employment policies are free from racial bias is crucial. Religion or belief. Accommodating religious practices as much as possible, such as flexible working hours for religious observances and providing prayer facilities, ensuring a culture of respect for various beliefs and practices is essential. Sex. Ensuring equal opportunities for both men and women in recruitment, promotion and training. Policies should also address issues like gender pay gap, sexual harassment and creating a balanced work environment. Sexual orientation, creating an inclusive environment where employees feel safe to be open about their sexual orientation. This includes policies that protect against harassment or discrimination based on sexual orientation and promoting an understanding of different sexual orientation amongst staff. In addition to these specific actions, care providers should foster an overall culture of inclusivity and respect, provide regular training on equality and diversity, and have clear, accessible procedures for reporting and addressing any form of discrimination. Regularly reviewing policies and practices with input from staff and service users can also help ensure that the workplace remains a discrimination-free environment.